Welcome into the studio. Now lots of people ask me about blending with pastels because they want to get the real smooth soft look that I get on mine, especially in the backgrounds. They're finding that when they use the same supplies they're getting really grainy, gritty looking results rather than that smooth look. So let's take a look and I'll show you exactly how I do it. So the first thing that could be going wrong is after you block in an initial colour, you're not pushing that colour down into the surface of the pastel matte paper. When I'm using my pencil on its side, you can see the pencil is just skipping basically on the surface of the paper and it's not going down deep into the tooth. Okay, so that gives that gritty appearance even with pastels that beginners find. So how do you get rid of it? Well, there are a few ways, but the most thorough, without a doubt, is by using a soft paper stump. And you can see I'm using that quite lightly going in the fur direction. And what that's doing is pushing that pastel or smudging it down into the tooth of the paper. So you can then build on that layer and put your details on top. Another benefit of blending that base layer down is that we can get even more layers. So we can get even more layers of detail and refinement than we would if we didn't blend the layer down firstly. Now if you're doing your underlay using PanPastels, you don't really have to worry about this blending because the pans and the soft tools, they just push it down into the surface, into the tooth of the paper naturally, just by the way they actually apply the pastel. Now this is one of the ways that PanPastels can really speed up the pastel process. You can see I've just got a small piece of just regular printer paper on the bottom under my drawing, and I'm just taking some pastel out of the pans, mixing it there on that piece of printer paper when I want to, and then just applying it in the direction of the fur growth. So as I said, with PanPastels, that graininess never really happens. You see it much more with pencils and also with soft pastels as well. Now in this area I wanted it to be really dark, so I've already put some PanPastel down. That's got rid of that potential graininess. Then I've put a really dark pastel stick in the areas I wanted it and I blended it in with my fingers. By blending it with your fingers, you don't lift much of the pastel off there. It really pushes it in. You can get a soft blend and keep that darkness that I wanted as well. Now the reason I used a black stick rather than black PanPastel in the corner is because the sticks go much darker again, and I wanted that darkness for the impact of this particular drawing. So I'm just laying the pastel stick down and rubbing it in with my fingers. Now when I'm doing backgrounds using PanPastels, soft smooth looking backgrounds, I like to make sure when I'm using the soft tools I'm doing it in roughly circular motions, and that helps to get a nice even coverage and pushes the pastel down into the surface even more. So as you can see, just mixing a bit on that printer paper, checking the colour, seeing if I need to go a bit lighter or a bit darker, and then using that circular stroke, blending the pastel into the one that's already there. Now the more layers you do, especially in the background, the smoother you can get the appearance. So another thing people usually make a mistake with backgrounds in particular, is not putting enough pastel down. So if it's looking gritty, especially if you're using pastel sticks, don't go getting too concerned about it too early on. Just put another layer on top and blend it even more. Eventually you'll get a lovely smooth surface. Now another way to get a beautiful smooth background is to use pastel sticks, or soft pastels they're sometimes called, but they do come in varying hardnesses. Some people like them extremely soft, some people like myself like them a bit harder, but they are by far the most opaque of all the pastels, and that means they'll cover the paper extremely well. cover most colours in fact, and you won't even notice what colour the paper was underneath. Now you just put the pastel on the surface, put plenty of it down, because as I said, if you don't put enough down you will still see grittiness of paper, and then you just blend it with your fingers, or you can blend it as well with one of the soft tools. But that's a lovely way to get a real smooth background, and you can also get it extremely vibrant as well, because the pastel sticks also hold the most punch as far as colour goes. So if you want a very vibrant subject, pastel sticks, you may want to try those out. They're really, really good. So I hope those tips have helped you and you found some ways or new ways to blend pastel and also to get rid of that grittiness of the paper. See you all again real soon. Just wanted to quickly mention my Patreon channel for those looking for even more in-depth art instruction. It's packed full of pastel videos, oil videos as well, and those videos are being added to new ones every single month. I have videos for the complete beginner that have never done pastels or oils before with just limited supplies, and I take you from the very first blocking in all the way through to the final detailed drawings and paintings. I've also got some really unusual subjects as well, and in all of my videos I always take you through all the details. You see everything I do, how I create my work. But it's not just for beginners, it's also for novices, and I also show the best artwork that I've ever done as well. And this particular elephant video spans 6 hours, so you know you're going to see tons and tons of details, tips and techniques. And as mentioned, I've got lots of oil videos on there too, so there really is something for everybody, and you get access to hundreds of hours worth of videos for just $4. Now over 1,000 members strong. Hope to see you there soon.